Welcome back. Last time we had just done the read part of CRUD, and now we're going to do update. So we've got our courses here and we can view them and it shows us the information in the course, but we want to be able to edit this information or update it. So how do we do that? Well, really easy to do actually. We'll do a separate view. Okay. So we've got our index for viewing. We've got our index for our course. So let's come back to our courses loop, and we're going to put our courses loop, here it is. We're going to put another button here, and it's going to be edit. So we're just going to copy that, paste that in, and we're going to say courses edit. So we need to create this route here, and we're still going to put up past the course ID because we need that, and we're going to change that text to edit, and let's just put a little class to give it a bit of space. So margin right 2. So this route does not exist. So we go back to our page, we're going to see an error. The route does not exist. So that's what we expected to see. So if we come down to our routes folder again, and we can create that route. So this is going to be a get request we're going to be doing. So we can say edit individual course. And we're going to say get courses course. So I'm going to put edit. And the reason for that is we cannot have multiple routes with the same method and same path. It just won't work. So we're going to change that to edit. So that's the method in our course controller that we're about to create. And we're going to change the name to courses.edit. Save that. Come to our course controller, and we're going to create this edit method, and it's going to look very similar to our view, maybe even identical. So we say public function edit, and we get the course, and we're just going to return this course to this edit view that does not yet exist. So it does look identical to the view one. So return inertia render courses. We're actually going to say edit index. So it's not identical, but it's very similar. It is worth noting you would probably not do it exactly this way, but this is going to help you understand what's going on. So you might actually have a lot of this same functionality on the same route, on the same view. So you might view it, and then if you are the admin, you might have the capabilities to edit. But if you're just a member or a different user, you would just be able to view it. So don't worry too much about that for now. But this is hopefully going to help you understand how to do it and how you can do different things. So course. And this view does not yet exist, so we're going to come down and create it. So we're going to just go new folder, edit, and we're going to create the index within that, index.view, and we're going to just do the same thing over again. So script set up. I'm going to say import app layouts. I'm going to define our props. Props equals define props, and it's going to be course, which is an object because it's just the one. And then we can do this. So app layouts. Template. App layout, title, edit course, header, slots. I'm going to say edit, and we can just use the actual name or the ID. Let's just do that so we can see the difference. And then we've got the slot, so we can say container, which is what we created before. This is just a component. It's been imported up there. And now in this container, we actually want to use some of the components that are provided by Jetstream. So this is going to blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind. So in here, well, let's just see what we've got so far. It's going to look very similar to the view. So if I just output course, and if we come here and we go on edit, we get the course there, okay? So we want to actually have this information in a form that we can then change. So we can change the name and the description, and then we can submit that to the server and it will update it for us. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So if we have a look at the components, we're going to see, let's just expand that out. There's all these handy Jetstream components. So we want form section. So we'll have a look at that in a second, but for now, let's just import it. So if we say form section, and now we're going to have a little look at form section and see what slots it's got and what we need to do with it. So we can see it's got a title, a description, these are slots, form, and actions. So title, obviously a title, description, we can just give it a description. These aren't anything to do with our course, by the way. This is just generic for this component. And then we've got the form where we put the form, and actions where we put the buttons, and we can put success message. So let's just fill out those bits and see what we've got. So if we say template, and we say title, and then we're going to just copy that. And we've got description, form, actions. So title. So we're going to say edit your course. Description, nothing that deep, but we're going to say this is the form to edit your course. And then form, we're going to actually use some more components that are pre-built by Jetstream. You can, of course, build your own, but it makes sense to use this. We're all about speed. You can just customize these if you want. So let's just have a look at what we've got for a form. So if we have a look at the form section, actually, it will help us to know what we need to put in there. So we can see that it's actually a grid with 6 columns. So with that in mind, we can use that information to put our own grid in there potentially, or put our own divs in there. So let's just put a div in there and see what happens. So we're going to say div, and we're going to say class equals. So we want this to be on a small screen. We want it to be full width. So we're going to say, so it's 6 columns. So if we say col span 6, and if we say on a small screen and up, col span 4. Don't know how this is going to look. And then we want to have our input. So we just want normal text input. So we've got a name and a description. So maybe the description could be a text area, but we'll use a text input for now. It's up to you, whatever you want. So you can see we've got text input here. We've got a label somewhere, input label, and input error. So we're going to use all of those. So we're going to say, first we're going to say input label. So input label. And if we have a look at that, so that's been imported up there, input label, we'll see it takes a value of string, a prop, sorry, called value. Sorry, confused. So we can say value equals course name, and then when we say text input, and let's have a little look at that. What's that all about? So it takes a model value, which should be defined. Okay, so we can basically do vModel on this, and it will automatically update. So it will keep the state of it. So we don't need to worry too much. Let me just check, is there anything else? Okay, no, we don't need to worry other than that. So we'll come back to the vModel bit, but because that's going to link to our form, which doesn't yet exist, our form helper from Inertia. So let's just say type equals text, because it's going to be text. And we'll just leave it like that for now and hope for the best. And then we're going to say input error. So input error. So every time I press enter, when it auto completes, it imports those up there. Although it did not do text inputs for some reason. Okay. So let's have a look at input error. It takes a message. And it only shows when message is there. So if we say, okay, message, and we'll fill that in a moment. So this is probably going to cause errors because it's not complete. Yeah. So I will do the next bit. We need to basically use a helper from inertia.js called useForm. So if we say import useForm from at inertia.js/view 3, and now we can use that down here. So we say const form equals useForm, and then we can just put the details of our form in here. So we can say name, and it's going to be props. So we're referencing this here, props.course.name. And then we do the same for description. Description, props.course.description. And that is that for the form. That is it. So what we can actually do is bind the value of this input to the form. So if we say vModel equals form.name, and then message. So this is, if there's an error, we only want this to display if there's an error. We can say form.errors.name. I think that's right. Save that. Let's see what we've got. So we've got our input there. It looks a bit naff. Let's just put a bit of padding on our container. So we say class py16. And we do need to do a couple more bits because we haven't finished yet. So let's have a look at our form section again and see what we need to do. So we can see that it emits this submit event. Okay, submitted. So if we say, let's close these down. Input label, don't need. So on our form section, if we say at submitted, we can then run our own function. So we can say submit form, doesn't exist, but let's create it. So what's actually happening is when this component submits, it's going to emit this submitted event, and then we're going to take it and submit our own form here by using this submit form which we're about to create. So if we go const submit form, that's the function, and then we can say form dot, and we want to do a put request because we're updating an existing model. So we say put, and we say root, and we need to create a root. So we're going to say courses.update. Now this does not exist yet, and we want to once again pass the course ID, and that's going to be props.course.id, .course.id. And a little bonus for you here, we can set some behavior here. So we can say preserve scroll true, and this will prevent the page from jumping back to the top when it submits the form. So let's save that, and if we come to our roots, so web.php, we're going to create this courses.update. So if we come here, and we're just going to copy that one again, and we're going to say updates, and we just go through and see what we need to change. So it's a put, and we're just going to leave that the same. It's okay because they can have the same, because that's a get and this is a put. and we're going to say update. So that's the update method in the course controller, does not exist yet. And we're going to change that to update. Save that, and now if we come to our course controller, are you seeing it's quite repetitive, right? So you're basically just doing similar things over and over again. And the beauty of Laravel is it keeps you organized. So we can go even further and we can take this logic out and put it in classes, but I'm just keeping it here for now so you can see how it all works. But anyway, sidetracked. So we're going to create this method now. So we're going to say public function, and it is called, what does it say, update. And that takes the, well, it takes a couple of parameters. We take the request, so request. So this is how we access the data in form, okay, by using this request. And, oh, and we also take the course, don't we? Now, usually the first thing you do is validate this, but we're going to just get it working, and then I'm going to show you validation, okay? Because it's very important, validation, for keeping our web applications safe. So what we're going to do is we're going to, let's just see if it's working. We're going to output the request first. So, do you know what? We haven't actually put our action buttons, so I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's come back to our edit page, and we're going to add these action buttons here. So we're going to just use a primary button again. I'm going to say type. I'm going to say submit. So when this button's clicked, it's going to submit the form. So we can say save. And then there's another component here called ActionMessage, I believe, ActionMessage. And this basically allows us to display a message after our form has been submitted. So we can say ActionMessage. And let's have a little look at that. So it's a slot, so we can put some information in the slot, and on is the only parameter. So we say on, so if on is true, then it will output what is in the slot. Okay, wonderful. So we can say on, and then we can use some magic from inertia.js, and we can say form recently successful. And that will be true if the form has been recently successful, and it will only be true for a couple of seconds, which is great for displaying a little message. We can say course updated or saved. Let's just put saved. Perfect. I'm just going to put a little class so it doesn't look weird. Margin right too. Okay. Save that. So, oh, okay, I must have not included that. So have I not imported action message? No, I have not. Import action message. Okay, there you go. Right, let's see what happens if we click save. We get our request. Wonderful. So that's working. We can see it's working. And if we change that to course, hopefully we get our course. If we do it again, we get the course. So that's good. Right, so now, because we've got this course which has been injected in, dependency injection, we can access the properties directly on that course object, that course model. So we can say course name equals request name. So this is basically getting this name from the form. Now we're going to do validation in a second. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. So copy that, paste that, and we can say description. We haven't created this input yet, we're going to. And then we can say course, save. And then we can return, redirect. back, and we can put another message if we want to. So we can say with, and remember from before, you say flash.banner, and that's going to add that to the Jetstream prop that's returned with every request. So let's say course updated successfully. If you have any questions, just let me know, because I know it is quite confusing. What doesn't it like about that? Oh, silly. Okay. So now we need to create this description input as well, because we've only got the name at the moment. So we've got name there, description there, but we do not have the input to go with it. So let's do that. So I'm just going to copy that. Okay, I've just seen what's going on. I've just been faffing around trying to fix that. I had left that at 2, and I need to add this block and full here. So that should work. Okay. Wow. Right. I probably just cut out a big chunk of nonsense there. So now we have these, we can actually change them. So let's just say course is called Laravel course. The description is called Laravel course description. Save. Got the little action message here, which disappears. And now if you refresh it, that has been persisted to the database. So that's what we want. So next thing we need to do is a bit of validation. Really simple to do, and this is going to keep our application safe. Validated equals request validate, and we're just going to pass an array of what we want validated, and that's going to be typically these inputs here. So name and description. So we can say name, and then this is some Laravel magic again. So we're going to say, you can do this one of two ways. You can either just do a string with separated values by that or operator, or the way I like to do it is just pass an array of each value. So we're going to say required string, so it must be a string, and we can say set a max length, which is probably a good idea to do. I'm going to say 99, and then we can do the same for the description, also required, and we can make that longer if we want to. So save that, and now if we leave something out, we should get our validation error down here. By default, it just returns the first error. So if that one's got something, it's going to return that one next. Oh, what have we done wrong? What have we done wrong? Description cannot be null. Oh, we didn't put it there. Description. So this is actually an SQL error or a database error, I think. So let's try it again. Now we should get it there. Okay. So that is your validation. So we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. So this is the update part of CRUD sorted. In the next video, we'll do delete.